Hi, this is Alterman 156, and I'm going to play an old rhyme on the piano, and it describes someone having a problem, and they go through a circle to try to solve it, and the problem is obviously not solved. There's a hole in the bucket. It goes through a whole sequence of things they try to do, but they keep running into a problem. And the problem with the hole in the bucket is never solved. I'm going to play it on my piano here, and I will attempt to at least say the lyrics to the music as best as I can. And you will figure out, once the rhyme is almost finished, that the problem with the hole in the bucket is not going to be solved. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza. Oh, oh. Then mended, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then mended, dear Henry, dear Henry. Mended. With what shall I mend it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I mend it, dear Liza? With what? With a straw, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With a straw, dear Henry, with a straw. The straw is too long, dear Liza, dear Liza. The straw is too long, dear Liza, too long. Then cut it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then cut it, dear Henry, dear Henry. Cut it. With what shall I cut it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I cut it, dear Liza? With what? With a knife, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With a knife, dear Henry, dear Henry. With a knife. The knife is too dull, dear Liza, dear Liza. The knife is too dull, dear Liza, too dull. Then sharpen it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then sharpen it, dear Henry, dear Henry. Sharpen it. On what shall I sharpen it, dear Liza, dear Liza? On what shall I sharpen it, dear Liza? On what? On a stone, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. On a stone, dear Henry, dear Henry. A stone. The stone is too dry, dear Liza, dear Liza. The stone is too dry, dear Liza, too dry. Well, wet it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Well, wet it, dear Henry, dear Henry, wet it. With what shall I wet it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I wet it, dear Liza? With what? Try water, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Try water, dear Henry, dear Henry. Water. And what shall I fetch it, dear Liza, dear Liza? And what shall I fetch it, dear Liza? And what? In a bucket, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. In a bucket, dear Henry, dear Henry. A bucket. There's a hole in my bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in my bucket, dear Liza, a hole. Use your head then, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Use your head then, dear Henry, dear Henry. Use your head. Well, that's the end of this rhyme. And obviously, when it got to the point where it went back to in a bucket, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry, in a bucket, dear Henry, dear Henry, a bucket. It was becoming obvious that the problem with the hole in the bucket wasn't going to be solved because the bucket wouldn't hold water because there was a hole in it. Well, they went through this entire circle of trying to solve the problem with the hole in the bucket, only to try to use the bucket, and they couldn't use the bucket because there was a hole to begin with. So, of course, the problem is not solved.